Price to come, or what are we doing?
I have to wait. I had my 3-minute warning. See, now we're good to go. I just have to
okay.
All right, meeting's called to order. Public portion of the meeting begins. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the rights of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Business Administrator, Board Secretary, has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, communicated to the Herald the Herald News, the Record, and filed with the Clerk of the Borough of Hawthorne. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clodico?
Here.
Ms. Goff?
Here.
Mr. Palouse?
Here.
Mr. Reicher?
Here.
Ms. Sanford? Mr. Tutara?
Here.
Mr. Turco?
Here.
Mr. Doyle?
Here. Would everyone please rise and join me to the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Meeting regulations. During each regular meeting, 2 opportunities are provided for citizens to ask questions and to make comments. During the first opportunity, early on the agenda, the meeting is open to the public for the purpose of addressing items listed for approval on this agenda only. Second opportunity occurs just prior to adjournment, when citizens may address any subject matter that is pertinent to and/or directly related to the operation of the school district. Persons wishing to speak must, upon being recognized, rise, state their name, address, and subject matter. Comments and questions shall be addressed to the board president or the presiding officer and shall be limited to 5 minutes per person. The board may or may not respond to issues raised by members of the public at the time they are raised, but will provide a response if and when appropriate. Persons participating via YouTube may submit questions through our Board of Education email address at Hawthorne, BOE, at hawthorne.k12.nj.us, which is available on our district website. When submitting questions via email, please be sure to include your first and last name, address, and your question. We will do our best to answer all questions in the order in which they are received. If for some reason we are unable to answer your question, someone from the district will respond using the email address you provided. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Please note that the board will not respond to comments regarding students or board employees in light of the privacy rights held by those individuals. Moreover, the board discourages comments about such individuals and will not be responsible for such comments. Members of the public who choose to speak during this public session should carefully consider their comments, since they could be held personally liable for any statements they make. Finally, please note that in accordance with district policy, the board will not officially comment or respond to any matter mentioned, unless it can confirm that the matter has first been brought to the attention of the appropriate school personnel in an attempt to resolve the issue. That being said, public be heard, agenda items only. All right, seeing no one, we'll move on to the approval of minutes for the August 18th, 2020 regular meeting, public and private. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clodico?
Yes.
Ms. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Palouse?
Yes.
Mr. Reicher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford? Mr. Tutara?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes. Moving on to correspondence and our superintendent's report. Mr. Sprito, please.
Thank you. So a few things to share regarding first week of school and some other updates. So I want to begin by sharing something that I wrote to our administrators, faculty, and staff last Friday. I sent an email to everyone within our district and I began by just thanking them for a smooth opening week of school. And I went on to share that I realized that the opening was anything but routine, but I wanted to express my gratitude to our administrators, our faculty, and staff of how appreciative I was for their efforts in making that opening so smooth, considering the circumstances. I went on to share with our group that I realized that we are all navigating uncharted waters with our new schedules, our new routines, our new procedures within our schools, but I appreciate how they all handled the changes and supported the students in one way or another. Everyone participated, whether it was teaching students, cleaning rooms, assisting in our hallways, assisting with check-ins, whatever it was. We appreciate everyone who participated. I also shared that we were here as an administrative team and myself to support our teachers. I encouraged them to continue to support their colleagues and work with our building administrators to address any concerns or things that had come up as we started this new year. Obviously, there are things that are going to come up that we can't foresee, or things that may just arise as we start this new year in this unique situation that we're in, but that just to continue to work together and that our continued efforts together would be the basis of our success this school year. I also have to thank Mr. Chamberlain and our custodial maintenance staff, just the work they did to prepare our buildings. Not easy, it's never easy, there's a lot of work to do, but especially this year with all the referendum work that's going on throughout the district. I just have to commend Mr. Chamberlain and our maintenance custodial staff for their efforts, as always. During the week of August 31st, we had a very productive professional development week, and I want to commend Dr. Tribona for organizing many different professional development activities, most of them being virtual, but I can tell you I got a lot of positive comments from staff about the options that were available. There were a lot of different opportunities for people to participate virtually, and it all related to the uniqueness of this school year. So I have to commend Dr. Tribona for putting that together. Administratively, I want to add that we've begun, and I've gotten a couple of comments about back-to-school nights. We've begun to discuss back-to-school nights. Obviously, once again, it will not be our typical back-to-school night, but we are working on plans to have a form of a virtual back-to-school night at every school. Right now, our plan is to do that in early October, as opposed to usually do them in September at some point. We're looking at early October at this point. But more information is forthcoming, so I would just ask our parents to be patient, but you'll be getting information about our back-to-school nights in the weeks to come. Just to update our diversity committee, in regard to our diversity committee, we had our second meeting on August 24th. As part of this meeting, we shared all the programs that are currently taking place in our schools that relate to equity and diversity. We also discussed generating a survey to go out to parents, staff, and students. And finally, we briefly discussed our comprehensive equity plan and the policies that are related to the development and implementation of that plan. Going forward, we're going to be looking for ways to expand participation in that committee. We're also looking into some recommended options for outside groups or individuals who actively engage in this work on a daily basis to assist our committee. Because at the end of the day, we want to make this committee, we want to make the best use of our time and obviously make it worthwhile for all, not just our committee members, but of course for our students and staff throughout the district. So we are working with our committee. Look forward to having another meeting later this month and to be able to share some more information. Dr. Tribona and I have been reaching out to some outside groups. We've heard back from a number of them, and we've had a couple of meetings. Some really exciting things ahead, I think, for that committee. So excited about that, and just stay tuned for more information on that. High school athletics. I want to commend Mr. Mazzaka for doing a heck of a job of coordinating the athletics that have taken place for about the three weeks we had over the summer, and we started again on September 11th for football, and back again for everybody else on September 14th. They've done a really nice job. Our coaches continue to do a great job with our kids. Our kids are excited about participating. Obviously, we continue to follow the guidelines provided by the NJSIAA, and we'll continue to do that. And by the way, all this information that we're posting, it's all posted on our district webpage, our Restart and Recovery webpage, including our sports information. So we'll continue to keep you updated. Right now, it looks like football, boys and girls soccer, and tennis are moving forward. Volleyball has been delayed until the spring, season 3, as they now call it. All right. So, but we're excited about where we're headed with that. There will be more information. Mr. Mazzaka and the members of the NJIC are meeting to discuss plans for fans, how we're going to handle that with numbers, limiting the numbers. So we'll have more information on that, and then probably in the next week or so, we'll have some specifics on how it's all going to be handled. But we'll keep everybody updated on that. But again, good job by Mr. Mazzaka managing all that over the summer and since we restarted on September 11th. I also want to just add one thing from our guidance department, an email that went out today in regard to the virtual college admission panel, which is tomorrow night, Wednesday, September 16th, 7 o'clock. There is information that was emailed out. There's a Zoom link and a YouTube link to watch. We're going to have representatives from Fairleigh Dickinson, Delaware, Quinnipiac, Ramapo, San Diego State, William Patterson, Bergen Community, Passaic County Community College will be part of the virtual forum. So encourage those high school students who are interested and parents who are interested to join that. And again, it was sent out via email. A couple other quick things, just to update you on lunches. I want to thank the kitchen staff, our Pomptonian staff, for the work that they're doing with our lunches. Not an easy task. They're handing out, I believe we gave out 300 lunches today, fed 300 students today alone. I was able to help them out. I was kind of helping out last week just to kind of see the process. Mr. Mazzaka, myself, actually Mr. Mamkej Tamer was with us as well, helping out. That was the first day. I appreciate, it's a lot of work. These Pomptonian kitchen staff members are doing a great job. But the fact that we were able to give out 300 lunches today, I think is fantastic. And it's obviously that people are participating, especially now that it's free for everyone, as we all know. But I just want to thank them for their work. Just update you on SAC, our SAC numbers. Right now at Roosevelt, we have 39 students participating in SAC. Jefferson, we have 19. In Washington, we have 7. Interestingly enough, the B group has more in all 3 schools. There's an A group and a B group, obviously, because kids only attend the days that they're in school. So the B group, just to give you an example, Roosevelt, there's only 12 on A day, 27 on B day. At Jefferson, it's 7 on A day and 12 on B day. And in Washington, there are no students on A day and all 7 are on B day. So 65 total participating. And we'll see if that increases, but that's where we are right now. And I believe that concludes my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Spirito. Ab, we're going to move on to curriculum and instruction, please.
Sure thing. Pursuant to the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Committee on Curriculum and Instruction recommend the following resolutions. CI 1 through CI 5 on page 3. CI 6 through CI 11 on page 4. CI 12 through CI 20 on page 5. And CI 48 and 49 on page 13 of the addendum. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second. We have any discussion?
Mr. Doyle, if I could just add one thing on CI 48. I just want to let you know, so we've had an agreement with LabCorp for any drug testing that we conducted, whether it was a student that we suspected, or we do random testing for our bus drivers. We were able to work with the doctor's office in Midland Park to do this now going forward, so we're excited about that. But on top of that, the other agreement that we have with them is that if we have any students who are exhibiting COVID symptoms, we can send them there and they will test them. Right now, they have literature that they gave us that we can give to our parents and students to send them there. They can be tested. Right now, the turnaround is about 4 days for results. But by the end of the month, they'll have the rapid test, so we'll get immediate results. So they've been great. I've talked to them. We have an agreement with them that if we send students, they're going to test them. Obviously, get consent and they'll let us know directly. So it's a good partnership with them. I just want to thank them for that.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Trevino?
Yes.
Ms. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Toulouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rasher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford? Mr. Turtaro?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes. Abby, right back to you for personnel, please.
The following resolutions are pursuant to the recommendation of the superintendent of schools. P21 through P31 on page 6, P32 through P40 on page 7, P41 and P42 on page 8, and P50 through P55 on page 13 of the addendum. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Palooz?
Abstain to, on P26, yes to everything else.
Mr. Reicher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford? Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Colijo?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes. Alex, please take us through finance and administration.
Sure, thank you. We have a donation, acceptance of a donation of $1,400 from Alexander and Nicole Violet to Roosevelt Elementary School to assist during the COVID-19 pandemic. These funds were processed through the Roosevelt School Student Activities Account. Action items. Pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Committee on Finance and Administration recommends the following resolutions. On page 8, F43 and F44. On page 9, we have F45. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Palooz?
Yes.
Mr. Reicher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford? Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Colijo?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes. Bruce, claims.
Sure, thank you. Claims, in accordance with NJAC 6A:23-2:11B, C3, and C4, I looked at all the bills and I approved the September bill list. I so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Reicher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford? Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Turco?
No on any bill relevant to PCTI. Yes on everything else.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Colijo?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Palooz?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes. All right, Abby, we've circled back to you for policy.
Sure. This is up for discussion only, PO 47, policy 169.02, board member use of social networks.
If you don't mind, Abby, can I make a couple
Of
comments?
course.
So, as the board knows, we've been discussing, the policy committee met last month, I think, Abby, right?
Yes.
Last month, we had a discussion on instituting a social media policy for us. We received a template from Strauss Esme. We've actually had this has been around since 2017. It's the same template. And back in 2017, really wasn't at the top of our list. And we just chose not to get involved with it at that point. But now more than ever, it seems it's much more relevant and something that we think as a board that we want to entertain. So we started looking at that. We've had some discussion. We put it on the agenda tonight for discussion. I know Abby has shared a copy of the Strauss Esme policy as well as some proposed revisions and maybe some verbiage changes that we discussed on the policy committee. On top of that, I reached out to our school board's rep, Kathy Helwa, who, by the way, sends her regards to everyone. Happy to hear from us. Very helpful. She was extremely busy today, but she took some time out for me. I had some questions with regards to, we're going to put a lot of effort trying to put this policy into place. And we have, some unanswered questions. We all know that, if there's an ethics violation, that there's a clear-cut way to handle that, and that there's consequences, and there's a road to travel. Policies, if they're violated by a board member, are not necessarily that clear-cut. If they are deemed to be an ethics violation, then yes, we have a road to go down. But if it's not necessarily an ethics violation, how do we go about enforcing it? How do we impose any sort of sanction or penalty? Or are we even able to do that? So this is a little bit more involved than we originally thought. And we're certainly not under any time constraints right now, so we can certainly take our time to do this. So after talking to Kathy today and getting some additional information, I did a little research on my own as well. I have some additional information that I can share with the rest of the board at a later date, and obviously with the committee. We'd be happy, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have based on the information that you've already received. But this is something definitely, we're nowhere near ready for a first reading yet. We're gonna have to get our board attorney involved in this as well once we do come to some sort of, if we even come to a final agreement on language. we can move forward accordingly. So, if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them. If you got anything for Abby or anything based on the information you guys have already received, we can certainly have a discussion. But this is something we're definitely going to have to kind of go back and revisit. And,
So we suggested the table this and put it back in committee again?
yeah, and maybe even move towards a work session, I think. I know I talked to Alex about it, and, see what Abby would like to do, but
I
willing to
believe
listen.
Solutions are simple and easy, but if you want to put it back in committee, have a work session, so be it.
I would just like to review with you, for anybody who didn't have a chance to read it, the revisions that we had suggested as the committee, just really quickly. Number one was the definition of social network. It included internet blogs, electronic bulletin boards, emails, social networking websites, and text messages. And we really kind of got hung up on that last piece, the text message piece. As a committee, of a whole, we did not believe text messaging was necessarily a social media network. So we had flagged that. You'll see that's highlighted in yellow. Additionally, in the actual bylaw itself, there is a line that says, uphold the district's value of respect for any individual and avoid making defamatory statements. We flagged that as a possible change. We didn't know if the statement defamatory was really encompassing enough. So that's something else to think about. Additionally, there was a line that says not use or refer to their Board of Education title or position when soliciting for. We were considering a verbiage change there to just say not solicit. And then you'll see I highlighted this one in green. This is really the crux of what we were trying to get across. Not respond to any postings regarding Board of Education or school district business, or respond to any question or inquiry posted to the board member or posted on any social media network regarding Board of Education or school district business, and shall refer to any such questions or inquiries to the superintendent of schools to address as appropriate. So those were just what you'll see noted in the policy that I sent out, in case you guys didn't have a chance to look at it.
Good, Abby?
I'm good.
Any other members have any questions tonight as far as the policy goes, or are we good to go with it to be continued?
I just want to add, I mean, to be continued, but I agree with like text messaging. How are you gonna get everybody's phone to see what they're texting each other? Like,
Yeah.
the other things you can actually see or look up, but I can
Yeah,
see where it's a
it's-
slippery slope. It's like someone's personal phone. You're gonna collect everybody's phones to see what they're texting each other.
I nominated you to do it.
All right, I will hand them in.
I mean, we can certainly remove the phrase text messaging. It doesn't have to, that's just what they said, including, but not limited to.
It's a template, it's certainly
Yeah, no, I
not something
understand.
we have to go by, but we all had the same concerns, Bruce. It's
Yeah,
great.
I wouldn't consider that social media, because
I think it was more so forwarding a post, or, you know what I'm saying, like snapshotting something and then disseminating that information. I can kind of see where they're going with it, but it made me uncomfortable. I understand all the other ones, but so we did want to get your opinion on that.
Mike, just out of curiosity, because I know when we went over this, I mean, we were somewhat in agreement of the different terms, you know, the different verbiage changes that we had reviewed. Is it solely those other points that you want to add, based on your review today from that phone call, or is the specific point in changing what we reviewed the last time, or?
I think we need to completely go back to the drawing board and reevaluate our overall goal. And again, more importantly, there's, to put all this time and effort into something and then not be able to enforce it down the road, I see as a problem, you know?
Fair enough.
So we got to kind of get over that hurdle, figure out how we're gonna do that.
Understood.
What Mike had shared with me was that we would be one of the first, if not the first, boards of ed to institute this policy. So there isn't really a lot of other, you know,
Guidance.
there's no, you're right, exactly. So we would be the guinea pig, and so we want to make sure we have it right.
Anyone else? Questions, comments on that? Good.
Do you have a work session date, or like what would be the next step for you?
I think the policy committee would be first, and
Okay.
then set up, you know, we figure that out in the committee, but,
Okay.
you know, Madam Chair, I leave that up to you. Okay? All right, we're good to go. All All right, we're going to move on to our committee liaison reports. Alex, we're going to go to you for New Jersey School Boards and Finance and Administration, please.
Sure, thank you. No report on school boards, finance and administration. The committee met last Tuesday over at Lincoln Middle School. Topics of discussion were the audit. The audit is, it's nothing to report on that. We're still waiting on the auditors. The next one was COVID-related expenses. Thus far, we have about $125,000 worth of that. The first submission is going to be with FEMA. There appears to be some funding that's available through there. Whatever doesn't get approved through there, CARES is going to be the next step. And worst case scenario would be our reserve accounts. Obviously, we don't want to tap into our reserve accounts for obvious reasons, but that's that would be the sequence of where we would tap into the funds for. The next one was the refinancing of all bonds. The 2011 bonds are available for refinancing. It's about $2.2 million worth of bonds. With current interest rates, there's about 6 years left in that pay period. There's a projected savings of about $150,000. Assuming that rates stay where they're at, this wouldn't take place till November, and the net effect of this would be realized in next year's budget. The refinance is being handled by the same firm that assisted with the refinancing in the past, and this is the only set of bonds that's available for refinancing at this point. There's a certain period that the bonds have to be in place before they become eligible for refinancing. And that concludes the report.
All right. There is absolutely an update for referendum. However, I'm going to defer my report to Anthony on the buildings and grounds, being that it crosses over, but referendum projects are moving along nicely, and we'll get to that in the buildings and grounds. Abby, we're back to you for curriculum and instruction, please.
Sure. The C&I committee met on September 8th. We met at Lincoln Middle School. And the first thing we reviewed with Dr. Tribona was the summer PD. They had 5 full days of PD. They were from August 31st through September 4th. Monday was full of building and classroom level meetings as well as COVID training. And then on Tuesday through Friday, they were able to pick sessions from a menu. All of those sessions were done virtually, but from within the district via Google Meets. The second thing we discussed was Kiker Learning, which is our Google consultant. And we had tweaked, Dr. Tribona had the foresight to tweak what we were about to do because it was not nearly as relevant in this climate. So we had scheduled him to come in this year, but he was able to put that on pause and focus on more hybrid-friendly meetings. So he created a series of 5 courses that will run for 8 weeks, and they're called Wednesday workshops. They're all virtual, and those are our virtual days, so teachers are able to do them virtually. They're totally voluntary, but each course can hold up to 60 people in each. Next, we discussed the instructional models that are employed in each school. Every hybrid student has interaction with their teacher every day, whether it be in person or remote. Instruction and contact every day at every level. That was sort of the MO of the day. For full remote students, they follow a cohort-like schedule just to keep things equitable with the hybrid students. We started with 6 fully remote teachers in K-5, but now after having some rearranging done, there are 12, 2 per grade, and that's district-wide. Office hours are also being provided for extra help from 150 to 256. That might just be for LMS. Is that LMS? Okay. I didn't know that yet. We then did a walkthrough of the media center and the science lab at Lincoln, which is part of the referendum. It was amazing, but Mr. Police will tell you about that. And then also not on the agenda but discussed was Mr. Sprito posted for a .4 PE position to meet the minutes required in elementary school, just temporarily while we're on this remote hybrid situation schedule, and that funding will come from CARES Act money. That is all. And nothing for policy.
Thank you, Abby. All right, Mr. Palouse, F, CPAC, PTOs, and buildings and grounds.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to jump right into the report for buildings and grounds. And like you mentioned, I will have a combined report for buildings and ground and referendum projects. We met on September 8th, and we were able to view Lincoln Middle School, the Bear Cave, and the high school right here. Starting at Lincoln Middle School, we viewed the 2 boiler rooms. The main boiler room off of the cafeteria now houses 3 new energy-efficient boilers, and to see them is a sight in itself. They look more like computer server models than they do boilers. They're energy efficient, and we're looking forward to seeing some savings on those. And there was 3 in the main room, and on the far side of the school, there was 2 additional new energy efficient boilers there as well. Also at Lincoln School, we saw the STEM lab. It looks great. There was a little bit of a slowdown because of some inspection delays, but we're well into the process, and hopefully it'll be complete soon. And also at Lincoln School, the lifts that they were finally inspected and certified, and I believe all the lifts that were in the district, except for one here, have been certified and are ready to go. Moving on to the Bear Cave, we were able to view the new building. It's about double the size of the old building. It's right next door, so it's a nice, easy way to transition over to that. Work looked great at the time when we first met there. There still needed to be some work. Some updated pictures were sent out. It looks awesome. There's still some punch list items that need to be finished, and then subject to inspections. Once the inspections are complete, we will make the full transition from the old to the new. We will be retaining the old unit that will be able to house our alternative program. And then we also came over here to the high school, and we viewed 3 new labs, the STEM lab, the physical lab, and the new culinary room. Just one thing I want to mention about the culinary room, something that caught my ear that night was the big screen TV and a drop-down video that's going to be right over the desk, so when the teacher is preparing any type of food items, all the students can keep their distance and watch the big screen TV and see hands-on without having to necessarily gather around the table. So I think that's a great feature. All the new units, very bright, modern looking, and we're really looking forward to having the students with a great place to learn. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Anthony. Tanya's not with us tonight, so we're going to move on to Marco. Anything under council liaison?
Thank you, Mr. President. From my review of the September 2nd, 2020 council meeting, there is no report pertaining to the Board of Education.
Okay, thank you. Lou, anything to report for Passaic County Schools?
No, nothing at the moment. I'll let you know when there's any meetings coming. I'm good.
Very good. All right, we'll move on to our second public to heard portion. Just as a reminder, when you're submitting questions or comments via email, please be sure to include your first and last name, your address, and your question. If you do not do that, we will not entertain your question. Thank you very much. That being said, public be heard. All right, seeing no one in the audience, Mr. Sprito, do we have any electronic communication?
We do. Right now, I have 3 emails. One comes from Donna Mallory, 226 Pasadena Place. She writes, "Thank you to the board, principals, teachers, and staff for a great first week. We have a new student in both the middle and high school this year. Despite their first day nerves, both had a great first week of school. They had a very easy time navigating the hybrid schedule and their live meets. Most of all, they were so happy to be back in school live, meeting their teachers and reconnecting with friends. We know how much hard work and effort went into making the schools safe and ready, planning out the logistics, and then executing the first days and weeks of this school year. Each of you and your efforts are very much appreciated. Keep up the good work." Also have an email from Cynthia Docray, who's a staff member here. "With the board meeting tonight, I just wanted to drop a note and let you all know that I appreciate the efforts that have been taken by every single person that has made opening school possible. I work at the high school during the day and travel to all 3 elementary schools until early evening each day. I want to compliment the administration as well as the custodial and maintenance staff. Any questions and concerns I have had, even on weekends and nights, have been answered and addressed right away. My workspaces at all locations have been cleaned and sanitized without asking, and I know that is no small task. The children have expressed their excitement to be back in school and have really stepped up and followed the protocol that was put in place. Believe it or not, my teenage students are telling me they wish they were in school more than 2 days. The flexibility to hold classes and or take a break with the students outdoors on school grounds is also working out well. Thank you to all. And the last one I have is from Joe Verone, 38 Ravine Drive West. I wanted to express my gratitude to the administration and custodial staff for making our transition back to school smooth and our safety a priority. Our bathrooms and classrooms are bleached throughout the day, and the administration have been very supportive through the obstacles faced during these unprecedented times. And that is currently, just refresh it, that is currently all I have in email.
All right, I'll give it a few more seconds, and I don't see anyone else here. Give it a couple more seconds, and then we'll move on. Hit that refresh button again, Mr.
I
Spadafore?
did, a couple times, I'll do one more. That's it.
No more.
Mr.
All right.
Doyle, Mr. Doyle, can I just, can I make a comment?
100%, yes, sir.
Scott Chamberlain, 141 3rd Avenue. I wasn't gonna say anything, but I wanna commend my entire staff, all the custodians, maintenance. I know everybody here has already said for a job well done, but I just wanna say that, they were here, they were out a couple weeks after March, but they were in the buildings since then, painting, going above and beyond what I could have possibly asked, and I just wanted, from the bottom of my heart, because you know what, you're only as good as your staff. I have a great staff. I'm proud to be here in Hawthorne. I know we're working hard to keep the students safe. That is our utmost concern, and I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud to serve the students in the community of Hawthorne. So I just wanted to say thank you to my staff for a great job, so that's it.
All set.
Thank you.
All right, we're good, Mr. Spadafore?
Yes, there's nothing else.
All right, that's going to conclude public be heard. We are going to move on to old business. Mr. Carr, anything under old business?
No, sir.
Anthony, old business?
No, sir.
Lou, any old business?
Not really.
Sure, you want a couple seconds to think
No, I
about it?
got one or two things on my mind, but no, I'm good.
You'll have a chance. If you
No,
have-
no,
You'll have another chance. Alex, any old business?
I just want to make a comment on the list. I know that's been a thorn in our side for a long time, so glad to hear that's up and running.
Yes, slowly.
That's it. Thank you. All right.
Let's see. Bruce, any old business?
No.
Marco, any old business?
No, sir.
Abby?
No.
Abby, back to you for new business.
I would like to bring something up. I've spoken about this with Mr. Sprito. Luckily, I was able to find an alternate situation for my daughter, but we were unable to provide, the Boys and Girls Club was unable to provide before here for the district for totally understandable reasons, and it was a very last minute thing, and I understand that we were not able to pull it together quickly enough to get it off the ground. I'm not personally aware of how many people are affected by that. I know that there are many teachers in our community who are also teaching and need to be at their buildings, myself, my husband included. So I'm just wondering if we are planning on just even surveying the community to see their needs, if they would be interested in before care. And I know we had spoken about that and you said yes, but I just wanted to let the board know that that's something that we've been talking about. Seeing if we could staff it with our own people. From the SAC numbers, I'm not sure how many people we would even get and if it's necessary, but just wanted to put it out there that that might be something that's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, we can definitely put something out in our next communication in regard to, just to gather some interest or see who will be interested.
Right.
As you said, Mr. Bertolo tried. He really did. He wanted to run it, but there were so many obstacles that he was up against.
Sure.
Without being able to bus and grouping, and he was asking questions and wasn't getting answers, and you know, I understand his situation. It was just, you know, totally out of his control,
Sure,
unfortunately.
yeah.
But yeah, it's something we can definitely do is, you know, check with our community and see who'd be interested.
Marco, any new business?
No, sir.
Bruce?
I mean, just a comment, great job, everybody on the opening, and for parents, students, anybody who's a teacher, just have some grace, because this is totally different than what anyone has ever done. I taught for 26 years, and this year is totally different than any year that I've ever started. I'm actually teaching remotely at my school, so, and a lot of other people are doing that, and with all schedules being different for parents, it's not easy, so day by day, and we'll get through.
Okay. Alex, anything under new business?
No, thank you.
Lou?
I'm good, thank you, Kevin.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Anthony, any new business?
I'm good, thank you.
Joe?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay. Joe, back to you for any general comments, questions, or concerns related to the district.
I just say kudos to Mr. Sprito, the staff, the faculty, and all those who've been involved in making this as smooth a transition as possible. Again, it just shows that how well he works together with the staff and how well everyone serves this community. Thank you.
Anthony?
I think we're going to all reiterate that, but I'll add a little twist. I did hear what I think it was Ms. Dockray mentioned, that the students are expressing the fact that they're happy to be back. Hopefully this has instilled a newfound respect for education in general, and you wonder if, as we move forward and hopefully things get back to normal, hopefully that sticks with them and they realize that being at home is not really one of them. So keep up the good work and hopefully we continue to move forward.
If I could just, if you don't mind, if I could just add something to that, I have to tell you, I spoke to a high school, I was in the high school today, I was walking through, and I just happened to be talking to one of our students, one of our seniors, and I said, so how's it going? He said, great. Is she happy to be back? He said, I am so sick and tired of looking at my bedroom wall. He said, I am so happy to be back in school. So I couldn't agree more. The kids are really, really excited to be back.
All right, Lou, back to you.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Alex, anything?
Yes, I just want to welcome our new high school principal. You have a reputation that precedes you. We're excited that you're on board, especially with everything that's happening. So I just haven't had a chance to meet you, but again, your reputation precedes you, so glad you're on board.
So am I.
Let's see. Bruce, anything?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Marco?
Just echoing the same comments from others, just grateful to administration, teachers, staff in general, parents. As a parent of 2 young children, I can tell you that seeing my wife and the struggles on a day-to-day basis that they're going through, as someone said earlier, the patient, just be patient. Every question that we've asked, teachers have responded to, every concern from all levels, and it's just so great to see as a community, everyone coming together to try and navigate this, and I just commend everyone, and just teachers as well. I mean, just to see how late in the day that they're working to try and make things work. It's a group effort. We're all doing the best we possibly can on a day-to-day basis, and I'm so appreciative to everyone. And we'll get through this. So thank you.
Okay. Abby, anything?
I would like to echo the sentiments of all of my fellow board members. Also a parent who knows what it's like to be home. I'm not home, I'm working in another district, but, my kids are really enjoying being back, and it's a totally different vibe now than it was in the spring. Things have been worked out, and that's thanks to everybody in this room and in the community. Just very appreciative to the entire village of Hawthorne, because it really does take the whole village, and this has really been an amazing experience, and thank you.
Okay. All right, the pitfall of going last is all the great comments have already been said. However, I'll conjure up something good to say here anyway. I echo the sentiments of everything that's been said here tonight. This is truly an amazing district. The people that we have working here, our administrators, our teachers, our staff, custodial, maintenance, our superintendent, our business administrator, our students. It's been amazing to see the transformation of what this building has gone through, what the community's gone through. It's been so positive. As a parent, I'm excited, I'm happy. My children are happy. I hear there's like a general positive buzz around town in the community. It's very refreshing to hear. I like positive things, so we're going to keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep moving forward. We're going to stay positive, and I thank you. I echo all those sentiments, and let's just keep up the good work. It's great. Everybody's doing a great job. All right, that being said, we have nothing listed for private. Is that correct, Mr. Spirito?
Yes, sir.
All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Turco?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Clavijo?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Palooz?
Yes.
Mr. Reicher?
Yes.
Ms. Sanford? Mr. Tutara?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes. All right,
Everybody stay
adjourned.
safe.